Warnings should not be ignored. Human wisdom has limits. God rules over nations and leaders. And what God says will happen, that's going to happen. Take God's word seriously. It's not a joke. Belshazzar found that out that night. And he was weighed in God's system and found wanting. It doesn't matter what the world says. The world, again, defines success very differently than does God. The world, of course, judges success by money and power and applause, but God looks on the heart. Man looks on the outward appearance. God looks on the heart. He looks for us to be faithful, to be obedient. If you appreciate what we're doing here at Worldview Tube each and every Sunday night as we gather and study the Word of God, we sure appreciate your support. WorldviewFoundation.com, WorldviewFoundation.com. We do need your support, and we sure appreciate your support. WorldviewFoundation.com. Thank you for your support and for telling your family and friends about our broadcast as well so they can join us. And, of course, we put this up online at WorldviewTube.com every Monday for you to share with family and friends if they couldn't watch it live or you missed a session here and there, go back and watch it later at worldviewtube.com. But again, we need your support. Worldviewfoundation.com, worldviewfoundation.com. So we've made it through the end of Daniel chapter 5. Lord willing, next week we'll pick it up with Daniel chapter 6. Till next time in Brandon House. Take care.
Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. Thank you so much for joining me in this. I cannot even believe it is June 1st, 2026. What happened to the first 5 months of the year? I have no idea, but that's okay. I'll try to keep track of the rest of the year. We are live on worldviewtube.com, worldviewtube, Rumble and X, and worldviewtube app, which is available for free. All you need to do is go to your app store. That came out with a thick accent. Go to your app store and look for Worldview Tube as one word. Install, turn on your notification, and you'll never miss anything that takes place on Worldview Tube. We are also live on X America News on X, and we're live on my platforms on Facebook, Rumble, YouTube, X, and Substack. Join the conversation. It's just me and you today. I do have some stuff I want to talk to you about, but I will definitely look at your comments as well. I have no idea. It's been, 10 days since I was on air. As you know, I was traveling last week, and that's exactly what I want to talk to you about. Thank you for all of your kind words, all of your prayers. Special shout out to everybody who showed up Wednesday, May 27th at Locks Hotel. It was a wonderful evening. It was a couple of great hours of like-minded people. It was so lovely to see a lot of my fellow Iranian Americans there. Thank you guys for showing up. And of course, thank you to Dr. Jamie Glaza for hosting the night. Gracious and absolutely amazing host. And we did it. I am back, as you can see, in one piece. I'm still exhausted, still trying to recover, because when I came back Thursday evening, I had to catch up with a lot. So there has not been a genuine rest to get rid of the jet lag, but I'm good. I'm glad to be back. It is amazing to be back. Quick, I guess, announcements on a few things. The hardcover of the book is now officially out. I know some of you kept asking if the Architecture of Jihad will ever come out in hardcover format. I wasn't planning to, but few conversation with few good friends, and I was convinced that I should do it. So that's out. The audiobook has been submitted for approval to Amazon Audio Store. It has not been approved yet, but I did submit it for approval Friday. Therefore, Lord willing, soon it should be available as well. So I think that is the last format of the Architecture of Jihad that had to be done. And thanks to a lot of you guys who helped, it is done. More projects, of course, coming soon. I'm working on a lot of different projects, but I will make those announcements as we get closer to each project's release. Another update I want to give you guys, of course, I didn't wake up one morning and make this decision. It's been a lot of thinking, praying, processing, discussing with friends, trusted friends. So as you know, until today, for about a good 11 years, I've been known as the former child bride, the Sharia survivor, the Sharia expert, knows it all about Islam, and I am all those things. However, a lot of my writing, a lot of my Substack, and a lot of my show is going to start focusing on a different topic. Islam might be middle of it, but it's not going to be fully concentrating on Islam. Now, I'm not giving up on writing or talking about Islam. The focus of Islam writing is going to be shifted to the books as they start building up. But those of you who follow me on Substack, who are subscribers, paid or free subscribers, and if you're not, here's your latest invitation. I invite you to join me on Substack, liveuptofreedom.substack.com. But those of you who are there, you have already seen the shift. Part of it is I can't, 11 years is a long time, guys. I have done in so many different formats. I have covered all of it. I have covered all of Islam. Short videos, long videos, interviews, my own show, articles, all of it. But we're at a point where this country is at a very tipping point. And one thing I've noticed is what I have a lot of passion for seems to be lacking online, especially when it comes to videos and writings. We started with the short videos of those who chose courage, which we will continue. But then I wrote a couple of other pieces connecting history and its pattern into what we're witnessing today. And the response told me that there are a lot of people who are willing to learn, who are willing to read, who are willing to understand what I'm saying. So the shift on Substack will mainly be, we're going to start focusing on history, not as a historical lesson. Again, read some of my recent Substacks, you get the point. What I do is I bring up that specific day in history, and then I connect the dots for you to see how it's not in the past. It is repeating itself, not for the cliche of history repeats itself because we don't know it. So that's going to be the shift. I hope most of you are okay with that. And if you're not, I will completely understand if you move on to somebody else's writing. But that needs to happen. It needs to happen. I have seen too much, way too much of decline in our American society specifically that is almost terrifying. So that's going to be the new pen I'm going to be handling on my Substack and also possibly on my show. As you know, we are exactly 12 days away. Well, a few hours less because it's 8 p.m. Eastern time, but we're 12 days away from the kickoff. World Cup is here. It's done. It is happening. There's no stopping it. So get ready because a lot of my reporting during that time is going to be focused on World Cup, not the games. Hey, I might come and celebrate a win of my team or be angry about their loss. But the focus is going to be, I'm going to track everything I can to the best of my ability. And remember, I'm just a one-woman research team, but I'm going to keep a very close eye on it. I'm going to try to report on it every day because the games are every day. Well, the first round is every day. We get to a point where there are 2 or 3 games a week, but at the beginning, the first 18, 12, 16 days, I think, it's not just 1 game a day, but 2 to 3 games a day. So that's where the shift of my show is going to be. Unless something more major comes up, I'm going to be concentrating on World Cup, not just inside America, but the exact triangle of Canada, Mexico, and America. And that's the best I can do. I can give you the info on what's happening, and then what you do with that information is absolutely 100%, like always, your choice. And then after the World Cup, of course, my focus is going to be absolutely 100% on one thing and one thing only, and that is midterm. And now my focus is not going to be red versus blue. It's going to be America versus green. So, Lord willing, that's the plan for the rest of the year for my Substack and for my show. The books are going to be coming out. The books are going to still continue highly focusing on Islam, Islamization, and all of that. So I'm sure I'll turn around and see your feedback on these changes on all comment sections. There was one comment I saw right before we get started. Heather on Rumble, thank you so much. It is great to be back. Again, it was wonderful to see everyone, but it was mentally, physically, spiritually such a draining trip. Now it's over. I can tell you that I pretty much traveled from Cincinnati to Los Angeles and back and did the event, all of it in less than 40 hours. Generally, that is exhausting on its own. But as most of you know, I boycotted planes, airlines, and airports in early 2018. And now I had to kind of break that boycott. And coming back after 8 years into the whole airport scene and the plane scene was shocking. I talked to three people inside these airports. There were different airports. I went through three different airports and 2 flights each way. I only talked to three people, and they were very much normalized. It is what it is, and they were kind of giggling at my shock and my absolute. I can't adapt to this. Like, this is not happening. I'm immediately back to, okay, boycotting again. I am not going anywhere. I'm not flying anywhere. And if I have to go somewhere that's farther, that's okay. We break the week into 36 hours of drive, preferably not to. I'd rather not to do it. But it was shocking. Just the airport scene on its own is what I focused the title and description of this show on. Is some less, some more. Like, for example, my own airport, Cincinnati Airport, wasn't as shocking. There were still human beings. Like, I actually talked to an individual checking in my bag, which was a trauma on its own. But there was a human being there. But a lot of other stuff was just computerized, machine operated. And by the time I got to the next airport, Charlotte Airport in North Carolina, I started seeing more of shift, less people, more machines. Now, of course, there's a huge crowd of people because travelers are still humans. I'm happy to report I did not see robots traveling at the airport yet, but I did see the function of the airport in Charlotte, and it was way bigger than I remember. Just for the record, Charlotte Airport has expanded big, huge in the last 8 years. Until I got to Los Angeles, California, the LAX, the one and only LAX. And remember, I spent 13 years of my life in LA, so I traveled out of that airport plenty. Inside the country, also internationally, I have traveled through that airport. But the moment I step out, of course, the very first thing that hits you in the face is Los Angeles welcomes you as one of the hosts of FIFA 2026. I was like, yep, I know you are doing it. I know you're hosting it. But just from there until I get to the carousel where I was going to claim my bag, and I was praying that I got my bag, because that's one of my things. My bag's going to be not here. And when you're arriving the day of your event, that's kind of risky. Anyways, until I get there, I could not avoid the level of technology takeover. It was creepy. But it got worse. Of course, it got worse. But I have, right before I get on my computer to start the show today, one thing I told myself is that I know you have a lot to say, and I know there will be a lot of conversation on the chat, but you have to be very mindful of your ad breaks. So before I dive into the whole how this all got worse, especially for me and those of you who have not been to LAX or Los Angeles for that matter for almost 10 years, let's do this. Let's take our first ad break so I can just go on. But when we come back, I'm going to actually look at your comments, and then we get into the LA takeover by machines. Be right back, guys.
Life is too short to spend a single moment spinning in laundry worries. Take a load off your mind with the all-new Norwex Powerzyme laundry detergent. This natural detergent harnesses the power of enzymes and plant-based surfactants to leave fabrics fresh and clean without fillers, brighteners, synthetic fragrances, bleach, or harsh chemicals. So go ahead, have your cake and eat it too. More than ever, stressful stains have met their match. Powerzyme's fast-acting enzymes break down organic substances while natural surfactants loosen locked-in dirt and oil, removing residue, stains, and odors with ease. With 91% bio-based ingredients, this dermatologist-tested hypoallergenic formula is suitable for sensitive skin types and delivers a safe and effective clean that won't harm you or the planet's waterways. Less time spent worrying about laundry means you can focus on what truly matters. Norwex Powerzyme Laundry Detergent. Discover the power of nature and load up on confidence.
Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. Thanks so much for staying with me until now. And I know it's been 10 years, but remember, one of the very best ways to not only financially support me in my work, but to give your household a very healthy look and feel is to purchase your products at Norwex through my link, which is cyruswellness.com. That's cyruswellness.com. Their products are 100% chemical free. I've been using their cleaning products for over a year now. And then I gradually shifted to where I use their mop, I use their skincare, I use their shampoo, conditioner, everything. So cyruswellness.com, I am an official consultant. And if you make your purchases through cyruswellness.com, percentage of your purchase will be commissioned back to me, which is a good way of supporting me. Hello, everybody on Substack. Go away, Lori, Sandra, Christine, Annalise, Dawn, Bob. Good to see you. I see that Lori is having some technical issues with some download. I'll stay out of it. I'm sure Go Away can handle that. Good to see you, Stacy. Good. I see that some of you are okay. Well, Lori, you're very kind. Lori loves my writing regardless of the subject. That's good. Wait, so does that mean I can just sit there and like write about my cats, Lori? You'll be good with that. I have a feeling I'll find a way to make it somewhat dramatic, right? Because I was reading on Sunday. When was Sunday? Yesterday. I was finalizing the Substack for today and tomorrow, and I was reading, and I started smiling like, what is it with you finding that very midst of the Substack to have that dramatic moment and then zoom back out again? So I'll find a way to write about my cats and have that dramatic moment in it. And I'm glad that you like my history lessons, Dawn. And thank you, Dawn. Yes, I'm trying to play it cool because I'm sure there are going to be a lot of different feedback on the fact, and that's all right. It's completely okay. But I've been hinting at the fact that I'm going to make a change to the hair. And the Saturday morning, I woke up and I decided we're doing it. And I did it. So thank you, Dawn, for your positive feedback. I already had a few closer friends who were not very happy with the fact that I don't have the silver anymore. And my argument was, listen, the silver grows back. Give it a week. Seriously, mark your calendars next week. You see the gray out already. So I'm not really worried about covering it and then letting it grow again. It's been a process. I got my gray 19 or so. I saw the first gray hair. So I've been kind of having it on and off. Thank you, Lori. Yes, that is the whole point. I feel like the new, not the new subject, but the new path of writing I'm taking on Substack is hopefully going to not only be eye-opening, but also someone commented on one of the Those Who Chose Courage videos saying, thank you. It feels like every time I watch these, I gain more courage to do something. So it's not just eye-opening, it's that we also, sometimes when you tap into history, good or bad, doesn't matter, whatever the event you're tapping into, at least in my case, that's why I'm obsessed with history. When you tap into that moment, if you properly step into that moment, not just read about it, be in that moment. You tend to understand that human nature is human nature and has never changed from the creation to today. That's what I keep using on my Substacks, that human behavior, human nature does not change. We have more technology, clearly, and more tools today. But deep down, our nature is always the same. So when you tap into that moment of somebody else's experience, again, good or bad, courage or cowardice, doesn't matter. You tend to tap into your own potential, which our normal life can deem that down. Again, we have more luxury, more access, medicine, technology, tools, this and that, where we forget about our capabilities. So the point is hopefully tap into that again. Hi, Annalise. You are not missing anything specific yet. I've been kind of just going over my shock of airports and planes and trip. And then from there, you already joined us. Oh, wow. Skid has not been to Los Angeles since 1989. Yeah, don't go. Like, if the shock for me after 9 years was that much, I don't think you can handle the shock. And Annalise has not been to LA since 1970. Annalise, I give you the same advice. Do not go to LA. If you're going to go to LA, get ready. Like, seriously, have a full therapy session before going and then schedule 5 therapy sessions after you come back. Because it is. Thank you, Annalise. That's very kind of you. I agree. My gray is very beautiful. Thank you, Lori. Yes. Okay, we're gonna shift to the hair thing again. I agree. That's why actually I grow my gray. However, I'm just gonna say it. I have a face that can look beautiful with red, mahogany, black, gray. So changing color of my hair does not necessarily scare me. And yes, gray hair, they say gray hair is a sign of wisdom. But remember, one of the reasons I wasn't super excited about my gray hair anymore was 2026 trend was when people went to hair salon and actually paid to get gray. I don't know how many people have actually asked me, like, where did you get yours done? I'm like, I didn't get it done. But yeah, the sign of wisdom is now apparently something you can pay for and get. And in my case, apparently, my discussions show the wisdom, so I guess we can skip the gray hair for a while, until when I get tired of colors, and then I just go back to that again. Go away. I literally have to translate that word in your question before I can even answer the question. So I'll try to do that during the ad break because I have no idea what that word means, but I'll get there. Okay. Um, Annalise says, when your hair used to be red, you can't dye it because the gray comes out orange. So some of us just had to let it go gray. You mean if you're a red hair or you colored your hair red? Because I have colored my hair red and gray just comes out gray. Doesn't come out orange. But okay, back to Los Angeles. I got to the baggage claim, got my bag, I stepped out. And the very first thing I noticed while I was waiting for a shuttle to get me to my car rental, the very first thing I noticed, which I've seen on videos and pictures, but I saw first one in front of me, was a driveless, a smart car pulling up. And I'm going to be very honest with you. Yes, it absolutely freaked me out. I just looked at it and I'm like, so somebody's about to get into this car? And somebody did, actually, two somebodies. It was a couple who got into the driveless smart car at the airport. I was like, oh, they're real. Like, it's different. You see a video, you see a picture, especially nowadays, you don't know what's real. But yeah, I ended up seeing a good 20-25 of them during the very short period. How long was I in LA? I landed 11 a.m. local time, left 3 a.m. next morning. So during that time, I saw a good chunk of driveless cars. One of them actually was behind me. I was driving to the venue and one of them was behind. I just looked up and I'm like, you better not lose your cool right now. Because I was on a left turn behind a red light. And I'm like, with my luck, this thing's gonna like dysfunction right now and just rear end me. It didn't. Clearly, it didn't. But it was not a good feeling. From seeing them, from seeing how people are using them, like it's completely fine. From the moment it stopped behind me, I was not happy with any of them. So that's for that. That was the first shock, which, by the way, the shock of allowing this to happen wasn't the biggest shock. The shock was while I'm watching these, what do we even call them? It is the smart car, right? Driverless smart car. Robots drive smart cars, exactly. Sorry. I saw a Farsi word on the chat and it threw me off, but it was go away giving me the meaning of that word he put up. Um, it was the fact that while I'm watching this, while I'm watching LAX filled with, I guess, latest technology, I look at the streets, I look at right outside of LAX airport, and it's a dump. So you know how I think, right? My thought process is, wait, so this city is crawling in filth. I mean, literally filth. But then the city or the state government has the budget to spend on this, right? And why are people not complaining? I don't know. I didn't ask. I didn't care to see what's the cost of, using one of these, I guess they're the new age taxis. And I didn't care to know. But the biggest part was you walk inside LAX and you expect to step out into Paris and you step out into you. Like genuinely, the smell, the air, the ground. By the time I got to the car rental, picked up my car, hit the road, and it was funny. I'm like, oh, good. At least I have not lost touch with my LA driving skills. I could keep up with the bullies in LA, especially in 405 highway. But immediately, it's like the roads are even worse than I remember. And they were pretty bad when I left. The roads are a disaster. But the government is spending money on this. Again, I'll take you back inside LAX scenery. Clean, spotless. All the touch screen windows, they're not even kiosks. It's like actual walls that are touch screen that you can find your flight. You can do this. You can do whatever it is you need to do. That is cost. And it's a unnecessary cost. The money that's being spent, and I know the technocracy and the 15-minute cities and all of that, but the people inside that city, how many of them are traveling through that LAX to enjoy the luxury? Because a lot of them think it's luxury. When they step out of their house and it's just unbearable. Before going to LA, I was talking to a good friend of mine who I got there on his birthday. So we had the chance to go for a birthday lunch with him. Before going, I was like, I hope I don't struggle coming back, kind of being homesick. Because at the end of the day, I basically grew up in LA, believe it or not. I grew up in LA. I was 19 when I went to LA. And 10 minutes into it, I'm like, homesick? Well, I want to go home. I just want to go home because this is not home anymore. I don't care if I grew up here. I can't bear it. I can't stand it. I don't know how other people do. And worse than that, I don't know how people are not trying to push back. And no, I'm not going to buy the whole, oh, they're all Democrats. They're not. They're not. LA, Los Angeles, as of right now, is not all Democrats. A lot of them are independent. Some of them are Republicans. This is not that's actually a piece I'm working on for Tuesday. No, what? Yes, Wednesday, June 3rd. It was fascinating to see the field people are living in while watching technology built up around them in their city. And of course, don't get me started on the prices. I have already on private calls, I've complained about some of it. So where I'm staying, my hotel, which I've done a lot of traveling, though I haven't been to airports, boycotted airlines, but I've been traveling a lot and I haven't spent time in hotels. And this was the first time that I was at a hotel that actually provided parking, but the parking was not free. You had to pay for your parking separately. I'm like, whatever. When I arrived, until I get ready to leave for meeting with Fred for his birthday lunch and then going to the venue, the lady at the desk, she asked, what is the seminar I'm attending? And I was like, it's not a seminar, it's my book signing. And she's like, oh, she was very kind. So she gave me a free pass for the parking for that time. I come back at 10 p.m., go up to my room, leave the hotel at 2:47 or 2:57. So less than 5 hours in the parking, get to the gate. By the way, there was no tickets. So the gate scans your license plate, and then it just functions based on your license plate. So basically, you're forced to scan a QR code with your phone where it matches your license plate, and then you pay online. There's no cash involved. There's no old school ticket where you put the ticket in, scan your credit card or what. None of that existed. And by the way, if you're all familiar with that and you're adapted to that, good for you. I'm not. And all of it was like, now I'm the tech girl, right? I'm standing at this thing like, where's my ticket? Give me my ticket. There's no ticket. Gate just opens. I park, I come inside. They explain to me, oh, it scanned your ticket and you can scan this QR code and you just work from there. I'm like, I don't want to scan some QR code. They're like, well, I'm like, give me the website. They're like, there's no website. It's a QR code embedded app. I'm like, I don't want to do it. They're like, well, you have to. There's no other way. So I'm trapped in the parking. I can't get out unless I do it. So I do it. I scan the QR code. And for less than 5 hours, I paid $57 parking fee. And I'm like, that was almost half of my nightly rate at the hotel. Like, why? Like, and I promise you, the parking itself was a dump. It was very dirty, and the floor was not made of gold. So I have no idea why I paid $57 for less than 5 hours of parking. I'm gonna leave it right here. We gotta go take our next ad break. When we come back, I'll tell you the rest of the story. Well, hello everybody. It's Annie Cyrus. Welcome to my art studio where all the magic happens. This is the station for painting, and that is the station for all the resin art I do. If you want to check out my art, all you gotta do is go to lutfstudio.com. Finish this painting, but I'm sure, or at least I hope, I'll see you at lutfstudio.com. Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. Thank you so much for staying with me until now. And while I was off air, I have listed about 13 new items on my Etsy. So there you go. I kept promising new items are coming. So there are new items on my Etsy, lutfstudio.com is the link for it. That's lutfstudio.com, and you can use promo code MISSION for 10% off if you like to. I want to literally say there are new crosses listed, a few decorations, couple of necklaces, I think. I'm sorry, vases are up, 2 diamond paintings are up, and more items will be added soon. So here's another way you can support me financially. lutfstudio.com is one of the ways. Yes, Lori, that was the thing. Lori says now that would turn me from ever leaving my area again. That was the thing. Though I was very grateful to, yes, Christine. Hold that thought, guys. I saw your text earlier today, but it's a Monday, right? It was kind of back to back, and I didn't want to respond without having the proper time to actually go back and forth. So I will text you later this evening so we can take care of your order. I was very grateful to see Jamie, to see Fred, to see Hedieh, Andy, and everybody else who was there. However, the moment I arrived at my home, I made a call to my good friend. You're familiar with him, Michael Lauber. I'm like, Michael, I'm done. No more travels, no more trips. If it's not within 5-6 hours of my drive, I'm not going. Not because I don't want to drive long, because 5-6 hours around me are the safe areas, are the good areas, are the clean areas, are the areas that you do not pay $43 for a burger. Galway just talked about, I don't know where last time he was at JFK, a terminal, and in-terminal beer was $15. In LAX, no, I'm sorry, Charlotte, not even LAX. I'm jumping over time, but that's all right. On my way back, I am exhausted physically. I barely had any sleep. I have walked 10 miles across airports in less than 2 days. And the whole shock of LA and all of that is in my head. Anyways, I skipped meals. And when I got to Charlotte, I had about 2 hours and 22 minutes. That is too many twos. Anyways, layover. And I'm like, why am I dizzy? Why am I faint? What's going on? I'm like, oh, you're hungry. I'm like, okay, let's go try eat something. First of all, most of the restaurants there at the airport were just weird stuff. I've never heard of them. I don't know what they are. There's some weird name, and then you read the description, and it's like kind of salad. Yeah, tuna salad. I'm like, why does it have such a weird name? What is that all about? Yes, I'm that old school. Finally, find a restaurant that's a little more decent, and they have some weird name, but it's just a simple old school American burger. And I did eat it because I would not make it to my gate. I was too exhausted and too hungry not to eat. I ordered the burger. By the time it came to the bill, the cost and the tip included and tax and all of that was $43. And I'm like, this was by far the most expensive burger I've ever had in my life. If it was an emergency, I probably wouldn't make that decision. But yes, and this is not in LA. In LAX, the morning of my flight back, I didn't even look at anything because inside LA itself, I could get the picture of what LAX would look like between, gas. I think the cheapest gas I saw, I drove past, I don't know, probably good 10 or so gas stations. The cheapest I saw was $7.23. And I'm like, whoa. 2 days before leaving Cincinnati, we hit 412 here, and we're all like, like 723 is the cheapest gas. How? And by the way, I remember even back then in LA, the situation was the same where each gas station had their own price, but this time the gap was ridiculous. Like one of the gas stations that was closest to the rental, car rental place was running almost 8, like 790 some. I'm guessing because it's closest to the rental, a lot of people are dropping off rental. They want to just tank it up, give it back, so they pay whatever it is. Especially, foreigners being not from America, foreigners, travelers, visitors, tourists, they all apply to both Americans and non-Americans. Anyhow, hi, Deborah. Good to see you. Yes, and Elise. So the fortune for the parking was the hotel. The walks were, so I had my step count thing turned on. I was just curious. So from the moment I parked my car here in Cincinnati Airport to Cincinnati, inside to my gate, in Charlotte from the landing gate to the departure gate, in LAX from departure to shuttle outside, and then back again, the total was almost 10 miles a walk. It's just inside airports. I know, I was like, oh, good. At least I got a good workout, right? While rushing and stressing and trying to not be so shocked with everything I see around me, and including people. I want to get to the people part of it because I was very disappointed. Wow. Lori says they pay $9, about $9 a gallon in Canada for gas. Whew. And Elise, for Texas, $4 is up. It's high, not up. It's high. Considering, as you said, partially produced by Texas itself. Goey said, Trump said Americans will be happy to pay the higher gas price temporary to ensure Iran never has a nuclear weapon. Okay. I'm not one of those Americans, but I'm biased, so that doesn't count. Now, we talked about the burger, we talked about the parking, we talked about the driveless cars, we talked about the filth you feel in the city of LA. Now, there were positives, like when we went for lunch, of course, across the street, even back then it was, and I was glad they're still there. There's a Iranian bookstore where I walked in. I was aiming for 5 books. They had all 5 of them. I bought 4. The 5th one is a collection of 6 books, and he agreed to put it aside for me, and I'll call him when I have the money, and he's going to ship it to me. So that was a good part. The bookstore is still there. It had all the books I wanted. But majority of it was I actually I don't know how people do it anymore. I don't. And I asked the lady at the hotel because I saw a couple of FIFA guests around. So I asked her, I said, so you guys are ready for FIFA? She's like, as ready as we can be. I'm like, what does that mean? It's like, we haven't received any special structure as far as what's happening. If any circumstances need to be changed, we were told business as usual. What are the hotels? A good hotel by LAX that's most likely going to be packed has received no special instructions at that did not go right. Let's try again. No special, there are too many S's in there. No special instructions on what is coming, and they were told business as usual. And again, I was there Wednesday, so it's not like it was months ahead. And as I said, I already saw a couple of FIFA guests. At the airport at LAX, I saw a couple of Europeans arriving for the games as fans, audience. Then how do I know? I mean, it's not that hard because they're like geared up in their FIFA 2026 hats and scarves and wristbands, and they're all, you know. And their passport, one group, their passport were from Italy, and another group passport was from Germany. So that's how I know they were also from Europe. Now let me go from here, switch gears to what I want to talk about. At every 3 airports, either going or coming back, regardless, lots of people. That was my other thing. I think I was at some point I was having a panic attack from the crowd. Like, this is just too many people. I love people, but I can't do this many people around me where I'm trying to monitor everybody to see who's going to come for me. And it's just too many people to monitor. I did not like that feeling. But while I'm doing that, also, I noticed something very disturbing. Everybody's glued to their phone. Group of people traveling together, standing in line to check in their bags, but they're not even talking to each other. They're all like, and I'm like standing, I'm like, I am literally the only person standing here that my phone is in my back pocket and my eyes are scanning the room nonstop. Yes, I do have certain special circumstances. I agree to that. But even before that, I was that person. Like, even when I'm at home by myself without having to monitor for any threats, I'm not glued to my phone. My phone is somewhere, I'm somewhere else. My glueness to my phone is when I have my headphones on listening to music. My phone is carried with me, so if I need to change volume or change the track, I can do that. That's about it. But I'm watching all these people. There is a point where I have a question and I look at the crowd right here in Cincinnati. Everybody's on their phone except one lady that I actually asked her a question. And funny enough, apparently she was craving the same thing of as if anyone's gonna even exist there. So we ended up talking. We were in line for a good 45 minutes or so. We talk, she's a very wonderful lady, got a new job, she's moving. I'll tell her about my book, whatever. Normal human behavior. Everybody else is in there, like they're, bumping each other. Nobody even stops to say, I'm sorry, because apparently it's a new thing. If you're on your phone and you bump into someone else, that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Walking through the gates, the moment the plane lands, there's this very, very young man. Maybe I don't think he was even 20 years old. Next to me, the moment plane lands, he grabs his phone, like the belt, he hasn't even opened his belt, safety belt, right? He just grabs the phone, turn on the phone. I'm like, to my head, about to call mom or dad or text them, say, all right. He jumps on Instagram and started scrolling. I'm like, wait, what? Your urgency to grab your phone was to get on Instagram? And this was the shorter flight. It was like 58 minutes of flight. I'm like, you were off Instagram, but this is Cincinnati to Charlotte. I'm like, you were off Instagram for 58 minutes and you couldn't wait to get off the plane because before you jump on Instagram? This is terrible. Or the fact that they had to be asked, few people in the plane flying off LAX, few people had to be repeatedly asked to put down your phone, put your phone on airplane mode, because until last minute, they're still chit-chatting on the phone. I'm like, I actually described, I said, at every single airport building up to LA as worse, I felt like I'm an alien from another planet. From the technology to the people's behavior to the prices around me, I was like, I'm from a different planet. I'm glad that I am. But is this what we are becoming? Yes, part of the fact that I'm fairly isolated could be the fact that I miss what outside is becoming. But this trip was definitely eye-opening for me of what we are becoming. They weren't there. The story I told, I'm going to tell you the last story when we come back. I told myself to be careful. We're going to take one more ad break, guys. When we come back, I'll check your comments, finish the story, and then wrap up the show. Be right back.
3 years ago, the United States was stunned by an announcement from war-torn Korea. U.S. Army Private David Hawkins and 20 other prisoners of the communists had become turncoats. They had renounced their own country and disappeared behind Red China's bamboo curtain.
What had you heard? Well, only what our Chinese captors had told us, how great they were working toward socialism, and the great stride that they were taking, bettering the life of the Chinese people who for so many thousands of years had lived a life of oppression under various governments.
You're watching Worldview 2, built on the 35 years of Worldview books, documentaries, research, high-profile interviews, and the radio and television broadcasts of Brannon House.
Guys, you do not, I repeat, you do not want to miss that documentary. First things first, have you watched part 1 and 2? Brainwashed America, part 1 and 2. If you haven't, You must watch those before part 3 comes out. I have watched them over and over and over. And every time I'm like, oh, I missed this. So I add notes. But if you have watched 1 and 2, you know what I'm talking about. I can't wait for a part 3 to come out. And with that, I encourage you to, if you're not a Vault member, go ahead and become a Vault member, because you get not just the part 3 of Brainwashed America that you get, but also so much content. There's so much material that you will need to take time off your vacation time and study. Very useful information, by the way. Not about my cats. And also that way you're supporting the network that is supporting people like me by giving me a show here, right? And as I say, and you think I'm kidding, but no, cancel your AI subscription and become a Vault member. You get way more solid factual information and truth from the Worldview Tube Vault than you ever get from your AI. I can guarantee you that. So that's Worldview Tube / Vault. Become a member and keep an eye on Brainwashed America #3. Huge part of what I'm talking about. Brainwashed America. Sad. And yes, I agree with everybody on the chat that I was very happy to be the alien. No, Skit. That project is a little on hold for the moment. But no, that is not going to be part of Brainwashed America. Brainwashed America is about Brainwashed America. So yeah, I know I'm definitely excited. And it was good to be the alien. I'll tell you the last story before I wrap up, and then I'll conclude with your comments. On my way back, Charlotte Airport, again, at this point, I'm just expecting everyone to be on their phones. And aside the fact that I have to keep an eye, because remember, I didn't have security with me for this one. On my own security, I'm scanning, monitoring the room. And of course, there are plenty hijab very women passing right through. There was a glitch of a moment where I remembered why I stopped flying, is when this hijab very woman passed right in front of me. Passes the TSA, and then the guy asked me to remove my belt. I'm like, what? Why? Why? You didn't ask her to remove her hijab? But then I'm like, no. You're in Charlotte. You cannot do this. You don't have anyone to come bail you out. You need to get home. Your cat sitter is only booked until this morning. So I talked myself out of fighting them. I took the belt off. It was all good. I was not, stacking bomb under my belt. Anyhow, I sit at my gate. I get to my gate. It's, everybody's there ready to get on a flight and come to Cincinnati one way or another. And I noticed a young lady sitting there, and she's not on her phone. Imagine that. So I asked her if I can sit on the chair right in front of her. She's like, sure. I sit there and I look around. She's like, I know. Like, what is in their phone? Maybe we should install it too. So she started making a joke. I turned my head to one side, notice another guy who's not on his phone, and he's wearing a reading glass, darker shade of reading glass, a nice jacket. I turned around to her. I'm like, do you know him? She's like, who? No, I'm not from here. I don't know any guys here. I'm like, no, I don't mean it that way. Look at him, but don't stare at him. She's like, okay. It's like, no, I don't. I'm like, come on, that's Colin. She's like, Colin who? I'm like, Colin from Chicago Fire, Colin Eaglefield. She's like, no, he isn't. And then she started stirring. I'm like, don't stir. Anyways, the story being, I don't know if you know Colin Eaglefield. I do. I really admire his talent. And I don't know that he's apparently located in Cincinnati. That's besides the point. The point is, we're at a point where a fairly known, not celebrity A-list, but fairly known actor can be sitting among the crowd, and the crowd won't even notice him because everybody's busy with their own celebrities on their own phones. Of course, I respected the fact that he was just, kind of being laying low and getting on his flight. So I don't run to him. I normally don't do that anyways. He's a very talented actor. Anyways, I just looked at her. She's like, I think, Sheila is like, I think right now Madonna could walk into this gate and nobody would notice. I'm like, I'm with you on that. And this is exactly why we keep missing the threat, because people aren't even noticing what's around them, good or bad, it doesn't matter. I promise you, it has become so normalized to have the cliche of hijab, very Muslim woman around the airports that people don't even look anymore. They can't count how many they saw, who was with whom. There was a family. She had a child. She didn't. So if something happens, nobody can describe. You guys were talking about it. Yes. Yes. If somebody in that very gate, in that any of the gates or any of the airports, if somebody would have stabbed somebody else, nobody could, except me, nobody could describe who it was. They would have get away because nobody's looking, nobody's watching, nobody cares. We not me. Majority of people, however, have this little bubble in their bedroom, in their kitchen, in their backyard, in the highway, at the airport, doesn't matter. They have this protection bubble called their cell phone and social media and cyberspace. Again, it was so eye-opening. Last story, the most terrifying that I'm going to leave you with. In LAX, I get to drop off my rental, get back to the airport, walk in. I did my checking the night before, including my bag. So I walk in and I'm like, wait, where do I drop off my bag? And I literally walk up to some other guy who's a, traveler. I'm like, where do I go to drop off my bag? He's like, oh, just that machine over there. Just print your label there, put it on, and then walk over there. And I'm like, wait, what? I was like, yeah, just go to that. He literally, I think I looked like some sort of an idiot that he thought maybe I don't understand English. It's like, you want me to do it for you? I'm like, no, I don't want you to do it for me. I could do it myself, but I don't want to do it this way. I'm like, is there any? He's like, no, there's no more actual, customer service desk. Or I'm like, oh, got it. Okay, so I go and do it because I have to. And nobody's taking custody of my bag. It's just rolling out on its own. Like, bye, bag. It's okay if I don't find you because event is over. I'm safe. Then I get to my gate. There's one individual standing, one lady, just walking everybody else through the process. Here's how I had to board my plane. There was a rack of 5 machines, 5 lines of people. We got through these, scanning our boarding pass, either using our phone or the print. When you scan your boarding pass, you had to look up at the camera. It will take a picture of your face, confirm your identity with the boarding pass, open the gate for you to get to your plane. Yes, I was trapped in LA. I had to do it. And that's not the terrifying part. The terrifying part is number 1. I was trapped in LA. I didn't have a choice. I couldn't I probably could jump over that gate and then they would chase me to the plane and arrest me. I wasn't looking for that scenario. But the only way to board your flight was through those machines of scanning your boarding pass and then scanning your face to be confirmed. But here's where the biggest terrifying thought comes in. I have less than a minute to say this. And people are already arriving in LA. A lot of these people are going to traveling between LAX and other cities in America using these machines. And if you think, knowing ahead of time, you cannot fool these machines, I guarantee you, let me go back to LA next year and fool it for you. LAX has become, right now in my radar, LAX has become the most vulnerable point of the World Cup travels across America and Canada and Mexico. There is no one there checking these people. Nobody's showing an ID. It's your face, your boarding pass. That's all there is to it. So, as I said, I'll keep an eye on World Cup and I keep reporting. But that was my short version of almost 40 hours of travels. LA is sad. It's heartbreaking. Where you are, if you don't have to, don't go to LA or New York for that matter. But I do need to run. You guys are amazing. I'll be back tomorrow. I have no idea what the topic is, but I'll figure it out. Until then, be safe, be vigilant, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye, guys.
What if millions around the world could access Bible teaching and worldview training for free right now without hitting a paywall? That's exactly what happens every day at worldviewtube.com because of the Worldview Weekend Foundation. We don't lock our live stream behind PayPal. We don't restrict our content to members only. Instead, friends, this is Brandon House. For more than a year now, I've been